Kamala or Trump?
Kamala.
Why?
Many reasons. Many reasons. I don't want to explain them.
So you're voting for Kamala. That's totally cool. Can you name your favorite accomplishment of hers as vice president?
Can I name what?
Favorite accomplishment, like one policy she's done that you really fell in love with that's making you vote for her.
I don't want to have this discussion.
Because a lot of us on the right, we call her a DEI hire. We believe that she was only hired because of her gender and her skin color.
See, I think that's racist as fuck and misogynist.
But isn't DEI supposed to be a good thing? So is it good or bad? I thought DEI is a good thing. Now it's racist? Hey, so which is it though? Is DEI racist or is it good?
So tolerant.
So what do we have going on here? Well, obviously, this is a street interview of someone asking what's so great about Kamala Harris. And the person they're interviewing says, hey, you can't say that she's DEI because that's racist. Now, my assumption is that's racist because Kamala is, in fact, a DEI hire. But saying so, well, that's bad because we all know that that's coded now. Because you're saying that she isn't capable of doing the job. She was only hired because she's a woman or because she's not white or something like that. But, I mean, Joe Biden specifically said that's why he wanted her on his ticket. So I don't know what to tell you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through this video and I'm going to make some commentary. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Before we do, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. You can find me on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, X, BitChute, Odyssey.
Kamala or Trump?
Kamala.
Why?
Many reasons. Many reasons. I don't want to explain them.
So you're voting for Kamala. That's totally cool. Can you name your favorite accomplishment of hers as vice president?
Can I name what?
Favorite accomplishment, like one policy she's done that you really fell in love with that's making you vote for her.
I don't want to have this discussion.
Because a lot of us on the right, we call...
No, you can't have this discussion because she hasn't done anything that's been helpful to anybody. And if she has, it wasn't brought to the fore. I never heard of anything that she did. So let's see what else she has to say here.
Her a DEI hire. We believe that she was only hired because of her gender and her skin color.
See, I think that's racist as fuck and misogynist.
But isn't DEI supposed to be a good thing? So
No, isn't DEI supposed to be a good thing? And now she's all mad. Notice this woman is white. So if she doesn't want this to be about race, then why is it about race? She's the one with the problem with race. This guy interviewing her, what is he?
is it good or bad? I thought DEI is a good thing.
To me, he looks Indian. Very Indian. But then his last name is Francisco, so he's probably of Latin American ancestry.
Now it's racist? Hey, so which is it though? Is DEI racist or is it good?
There's no answering that question, my friend. Let's get to where we can see him a bit better. There he is. So, see, he's the bad guy here. He would be considered white because white doesn't mean white anymore. We see this all over. You go onto Twitter. You can go on TikTok, I'm sure, and see it, and on Instagram, on YouTube a little bit, but not that much because they crack down on this sort of thing. But, you know, Larry Elder is considered white. Larry Elder's not white. White is coded now. It means conservative. It means far right. It means at least right wing. Then does that make somebody who has the correct politics, like this lady here who was definitely white, does that make her not white? So it doesn't really make any sense because they're basing it on stuff that has nothing to do with your race. It has to do with your politics. And as much as the detractors of mine like to say that, you know, I'm far right and I'm this and that and I'm the third, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not even barely right at all. But whatever, what do I know? Now, what I want to move on to is this article here. From NBC News, DEI attacks on Kamala Harris come after a year of... Well, I don't think this is the right article, but we're going to take a look at it. DEI attacks on Kamala Harris come after a year of steadily deploying the insult at black people in positions of power. DEI is an insult now? I thought that's what you wanted. You wanted diversity, equity, and inclusion. So Kamala Harris seems to fit that requirement because she is a female non-white. Of course, like we just said, what does it take to not be white? Well, you have to have the right politics. So it doesn't matter what color your skin is. Larry Elder, again, is the example. He's far right, according to whoever out there, the woke. So as a result of that, he's white. He's not black. An insult uttered in schools and boardrooms about many marginalized people has a new high-profile target, Kamala Harris, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. I think she's one of the weakest candidates I've ever seen in the history of our country. I mean, intellectually, just really kind of the bottom of the barrel. I think that she was a DEI hire, Rep. Harriet Hagman said. Well, she was. Biden said specifically he was looking for a woman of color to be on his ticket. Earlier this month, Rep. Tim Bersett of Tennessee said on X that the news media had propped up Biden and then dumped him for our DEI vice president. Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising to me if there were people who were whispering into the president's ear, we got to get in a female president. We got to get in a female vice president. That'll be a step in the right direction. All the while thinking Biden is so old, and it was clear that he was not doing well before he was elected to the office of president. They were thinking maybe he's going to die in office if we have this female minority. We reach our goal. We reach two goals. We have a female, non-white in the office of president because Biden has kicked the bucket. Or maybe he's going to get so bad that he cannot continue on as president, and so then she'll have to step up and take the reins. And either way, we get what we want. And since that didn't happen, then they're like, you got to step down. And now she's going to be the nominee, it looks like. So, for Black diversity, equity, and inclusion professionals, the attack on Harris as a DEI hire or DEI candidate show the ways racial tropes can be used against Black people in power. Despite their successes, Bersett and Hagman did not respond to requests for comment from NBC News. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily anything. They might have been just too busy to deal with this situation, or I don't know what's going on in their personal lives or their professional lives that are keeping them from commenting. Maybe they don't want to comment. Maybe they don't really have anything to say because they probably already said everything they need to say. What else is there to say? I mean, she's a DEI hire. Okay. She's a DEI candidate. All right. What else do you need me to say? She's DEI. It's obvious. And I thought that's what everybody was pushing for. DEI refers to workplace policies and practices designed to support people of various backgrounds and provide resources for them to thrive, while also identifying qualified candidates for jobs to close racial and gender disparities. But it has become the latest shorthand way to allege that success and power for some people of color or from other marginalized groups are unearned. Well, yeah, that's the case. If you're a DEI hire, what makes you think you earned what you have? What makes you think you earned your place that you have been given? And I would, if I was a minority, right, a non-white male, non-white straight male, I would be railing against DEI harder than anybody else because I don't want to be the person who's put into my position or who is thought to have been put into my position because of these superficial characteristics that really don't have anything to do with anything. Women do think differently from men. Women do have different daily requirements to maintain their plumbing than men do, right? Men have things they have to worry about as they get older, whereas women have things that they deal with on a regular basis from a young age. So there's that. But does that mean that you can't hold an intellectual position as a woman? Not necessarily. There's a lot of women who think more like a man. So Suzanne Rice, who is Black and has been ambassador to the UN, again, DEI hire, national security advisor, and most recently an advisor to President Joe Biden, said that when a person like me or anybody else is called a DEI hire, it means that if you are a woman of any background, if you are a person of color, if you are an immigrant, if you are LGBTQ, if you are disabled, if you're a religious minority, if you're a veteran, and you achieve success, rose to a position of leadership, you didn't deserve it. You didn't get there on merit. You got there because you got some unfair advantage that is incredibly insulting to the vast majority of Americans who fall into all of those categories. If it's the vast majority of Americans, then why are they considered minorities? That's a fair question, right? And I don't think that the majority of Americans fall into these categories. If you're an immigrant, that's a small percentage. If you're an LGBTQ, that's a very small percentage. We see that white people outnumber the people of color. If you're a woman, that's only 50% of the population. So, yeah, if you count women And then you count all the other people that have like a disability or LGBTQ, et cetera, then of course the majority of Americans do fall into one or more of these categories, because women is 50%, a little bit more than 50% of the population in the United States. It's like what, 50.5% of the population or something like that. So while the term has been hurled at Harris before, such attacks ramped up almost immediately after Biden announced on July 21st that he was relinquishing his re-election campaign and endorsing the vice president in the November election against Trump. The incendiary comments by some Republican lawmakers against Harris are just another pejorative, said Fatima Gilliam. Gilliam points to Harris' qualifications for president. She was California's attorney general and a U.S. senator and has been vice president for nearly a full term. So when people want to say she's a DEI candidate, it's just a new way of trying to say she is the N-word candidate. A way to try and break her down, chip away at her, Gilliam said. No, it's not a way of trying to break her down or chip away at her. If she's qualified for the job, she could be purple with green polka dots and come from the planet Mars. It doesn't matter to me. Is she qualified for the job? Now, did she get into her position that she's in because of DEI? Yes, she did. We know this. Biden said so. He wanted to put a minority woman on the ticket with him. So, I mean, because he could have picked, Hillary Clinton, who is, I guess, liked better than Harris. Not much, but it seems like she's appreciated by more people than Harris is. I don't know. Harris is the highest profile recipient of these attacks, which seem to be the result of a growing effort to undermine black people in positions of power, say DEI professionals who spoke with NBC News. In fact, broadening the ideas of who can be powerful and successful invites such backlash, as Gilliam said. Is that true? Weren't people saying similar things about Obama when he was in office? And he was president, so I think that he'd be a higher profile then, wouldn't he? Republican nominee Donald Trump has called Harris dumb as a rock. Well, if the shoe fits, I don't know what to tell you. And repeatedly, presumably internationally, mispronounced her first name. That's probably true. I don't ever hear him saying camel toe. He calls her like Kamala or Kamala or some stupid thing like that. I don't know. Camel toe is the correct pronunciation. Stephen Chung, Trump's communications director, doubled down. Camel toe Harris is by all accounts dumb as a rock. Even minorities like myself know that. She is weak, failed, and dangerously liberal. The insults were expected, Gilliam said. None of this surprises me because, to be blunt, this is exactly what America is. I don't have a Pollyanna view. Okay, it's Pollyanna-ish, as I recall. View about where we're headed. I have a very pessimistic view, and attacking the vice president confirms that. Why do you have a pessimistic view? What is this pessimism about? Trump was already president once. The country did not collapse. Country is being invaded now, and the inflation is really high, and prices have gone way up. The housing market is on the verge of collapse. That's all happened with Biden-Harris. I don't know what to tell you. Not all conservatives are falling in line with Trump on this line of attack. Samuel Rivers Jr., a former South Carolina state representative who is black, said he was offended by the blast at Harris. Yeah, they're blasts, all right. I'm a hardcore Republican and I don't agree with camel toe Harris policies, Rivers said. But in fairness, the woman just didn't wake up yesterday and become vice president. There's a track record of her being elected multiple times, and so I believe people pick their VPs based on what they want them to do for them. No. Yes, they do pick them on what they want to do for them. Biden, how many times do I have to say it? Biden said that he hired her, he ran with her because she's a not white woman. Growing up in the South also informed Rivers' position. I saw people of African descent train a white person on the job to be their supervisor or be their manager, and no one ever said a word. We knew why that person was being promoted and not the black person. It was because of the color of their skin. This has been going on for ages. So why are they saying she didn't earn where she is because she's black? Well, if that was happening since the mid-1960s, then that would be illegal. And so in that case, you could file a lawsuit. And it's very black and white. You get back pay, you get all these different, there's fines involved. It's very easy to win these sorts of things. If you can just say, hey, look, it's because this person is white and I'm not. It could be for any color though. Like if you're fired from a job because you're white, because you're black, because you're brown, because you're whatever, you can just be like, hey, look, I was fired because of my color. And then it's very easy to win those things. So other Republicans have warned that slinging this type of attack on Harris will only backfire on the Trump campaign. Republican pollster Whit Aries told the Washington Post, for example, that Trump should instead focus on issues and label her a San Francisco liberal who wants to ban fracking, ban offshore drilling, and eliminate private health insurance. I think he's mentioned some of those things. But Gilliam said he believes the attacks may only intensify and their volume and frequency against Harris and other high-ranking black people are only becoming a more common racial trope. This insult using DEI is just another way of saying she's black and unqualified, a woman and unqualified, which has been their modus operandi. Okay, well, if that's true, then that's true. I don't know what to tell you. If I'm hired because I'm white, and they're just like, oh, we're going to hire you because you're white. And they're like, you're going to be the brain surgeon. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what to tell you. You can't just hire me because I'm white and tell me to go be a brain surgeon. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know the first thing about that. So she pointed out that when a container ship crashed into a Baltimore bridge in March, the same language was used about Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott and the commissioner of the ports of Baltimore, Katarina Barber, all of whom are black. Okay, well, were those people put into their position because they are not white? Were they? Is that the truth of it? Okay, well, if that's the truth of it, then what is wrong with saying that? When a United Airlines plane lost a wheel during takeoff in January, Donald Trump Jr. blamed diversity efforts, and podcaster Charlie Kirk said he would feel less safe under the wing of a black pilot. I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. And again, his point being, I'm assuming, again, I don't know him, I don't know his mind, but I'm assuming he's saying that because was this guy put into his position because of the color of his skin instead of because of his merit? Because that's what we're seeing across the board in a lot of these companies and such. We have the undercover video from O'Keefe Media Group of Disney saying, yeah, we will not hire white people for these jobs. So if I walk in as an animator myself, if I walk in there and go, look, I'm qualified, this is what I can do for you, here's my portfolio, I can give you this level of quality for your product. I'm like, oh, well, you're white, we don't want you. I have to pull something out of my butt and say, look, well, actually, I'm part Slavic. I have like a reading disability and so on and so forth, and then just make these things up or try to sell myself as some sort of disabled person or in some way not perfectly pristine white straight male. It will get a lot worse, Sessions said. It will get a lot nastier before it gets better. And although they may be aimed at her, it's going to be aimed at all of us. Oh, okay, all of us. Now, do you mean all of us humans or all of us non-white male humans? Loretta Muldrow, an attorney in Houston, said she endured similar insults through her career. Yeah. You don't want to be the person who's like, oh, how'd you get to be the head without being able to show a paper trail? This is a new way to challenge the browning of America, she said. They never got over an African-American winning the presidency. No, I think that the African-American never got over the racism that happened to his ancestors. How many hundreds of years ago? How many decades ago? And this term they are now using is just another way to make us something other than American. It's just another corporate way of calling us the N-word. It's their way of giving the undecided voters out there pause to remind them that she's other than us, other than Caucasian. And as a black woman who has been through that, it's extremely insulting. It's also telling, DEI consultant Nikki White said. The name-calling is a sign that they are now starting to realize this is going to be a fight, White said. The only reason that you place emphasis on calling someone a DEI hire is because of your recognition that she is a threat to you because of her qualifications and her competencies. No, that is not true. She is a threat because of the position of power she is being handed that she is not qualified to hold down. Okay? I mean, if you put somebody in the presidency, you say, okay, you're going to be president, and that person does not have a lick of sense which Kamala Harris does not have a lick of sense. Not only that, but she's completely lying about things, right? Oh yeah, I'm going to take care of the border. Have you ever been to the border? What does that have? I've never been to Europe either. What does that have to do with anything? Well, you are in charge of controlling the border. So, I mean, that might be something. I don't know what to tell you. And so, anyway, this is a bunch of garbage. We know it. That being a DEI hire does not mean that you are somehow qualified, nor does it mean that you are not qualified. It means that you're a DEI hire. Odds are you're not qualified, but if the shoe fits, wear it, right? I got my current job based on merit only. My ability to do the work, right? It shouldn't have anything to do with anything other than that. I mean, maybe you could say, well, you had the right connection. That would be something that doesn't have to do with anything about merit. Like, I didn't have any connections. I just saw the job posting, applied for it. They called me up and said, hey, we want to interview you. They interviewed me, and they said, yeah, we want to hire you because you're good. And I said, great, thanks. I appreciate it. I'll come in when do you want me to come in? And then I actually got a guy his job there. He had the merit, though. I mean, but if it wasn't for me, then he would not have had his foot in the door. But he knew what he was doing as far as teaching and as far as the software is concerned, right? So that's probably acceptable, right? You got to know the right people. I'm not gonna like recommend somebody I don't know. They're like, hey, we got this guy over here. Have you ever met him? I don't know who that guy is. I don't know anything about his work or his ability to teach. So I can't say anything whether he's good or bad. I don't know. I can say that Kamala Harris is an idiot. Sorry, camel toe. She is. Just listen to her talk. And so if she wins, I mean, I think we're in for a world of hurt, but who knows what's going to happen. Anyway, that's all I got for this time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.